Greetings and salutations to one and all. Welcome to the end of the night shift week. This Emancipendence week. How you doing? It's a night we do a thing we call a Real Talk Wednesday. Also known as Marlon's favorite night shift show. So if you know Marlon, you know this is his show. I want to say big ups to each and everyone locked in right now, those on TuneIn Radio. Well, I don't care what people want. The night shift with DJ Kevin Steele, those on PEMG TV and affiliate stations. Of course, those right here at the home of the night shift with DJ Kevin Steele. So glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you, and you have my word. I wouldn't even try.
Where you from? Where you going? Who are your mother? When last you been home? Mind your funky business. Mind your funky business.
Kicking it off with a little fimba.
Leave me alone.
It's called Funky Business.
Mind your funky business. Just leave me alone. When you see me, leave me alone. Hey.
Wait. You fucking? Any boy for girls, right?
When you see me liming, don't ask me nothing. Interrogation start. You want to be whole life story. Oh, you look good so. Long time I see you. With your hat for dinner. Chicken back. I hear she's sister breed. Be a married man. Oh, you know that. Homeless man. Mind your funky business. Mind your funky business. Leave me alone. When you see me, leave me alone. Hey, mind your funky business. Mind your funky business. Just leave me alone. When you see me, leave me alone. Hey.
Right now, way most expensive clothes. Watch.
Them just a study people business. So, hey, why you watching me? Why you a studying me? Mind your
This song is so hilarious.
with your funky fastness.
Your funky fastness.
Mind your funky business. Mind your funky business. Leave me alone. When you see me, leave me alone. Hey, mind your funky business.
Speaking of fastness, I want to say big ups to all those tuned in on Facebook.
When you see me, leave me
Welcome. Remember, it's only temporary.
don't care what people wanna say. Them will talk you any time of day. Hey, you too good, them talking you. You too bad, them talking you.
I want to say thanks to Pulse Media Group for sponsoring this segment of the show.
Questions, where you from?
When being in the moment is priceless, give them a call.
Mind your funky business. Leave me alone. When you see me,
754-999-6020 is the number to reach them at
mind your funky business.
for innovative streaming and recording solutions and so much more. You see this right here on kevinstew.com. They can take care of all of that. The streaming,
You anytime of
the website hosting, the website creation.
them talking you. You too bad, them talking you.
Give them a call and see how they can help you. You have an event that you want to just capture.
Where you from? Where you going?
You have an event you want to stream.
Where your mother?
You want to take it a step further and have your own internet broadcasting station.
Mind your funky business. Leave me alone.
754-999-6020
Mind your funky business.
or visit them at paulcmg.com.
Leave me alone. When you see me, leave me alone. Hey. Well, I don't care what people wanna say. Them will talk you.
It's on the Finbar.
my day.
It's called Funky Business.
You too bad.
I want to say big ups to Marlon in the stew pot, inviting everybody else to just jump into the stew pot. Marlon, host of the Real Rockers. Happens every Monday and Wednesday from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time.
You've been home. Mind your
Follow him on social media, Real Rockers Radio, ROCKAZ, Z if you're from the islands.
funky business. Mind your funky business. Just leave me alone. When you see me, leave me alone.
Yeah, just allow me. You know, we were picking up where we left off last week. For those of you on Facebook just tuning in, welcome. We're picking up where we left off last week, and last week we did a show we call Third Eye Seeing. So this week it's Third Eye Seeing 2. You get it? Those of you who are on kevinstew.com and you're seeing what is going on, those of you on Facebook, for those of you who are really at East End, Facebook, Facebook Live. Yeah, it's what you see right there at the bottom. Yeah, right there, right there. Third Eye Seeing, that's the title for tonight's Real Talk. And we're gonna see if we can wrap up this whole thing in a nice little package. We started last week and we're looking at we heard some stories that they could probably belong on an episode of X-Files. My story of the disappearing car on Junction Road. CL's story of the stove turning off. Althea's story of being lost at the airport. The airport, which is no longer used, the closed airport, and being out and getting directions to the new airport. All these stories pretty much belong in X-Files. But they're real life stories because they happen to real life people. And tonight we're looking at some more things. And so let's see. Last week we kind of stopped off at ghosts, and that is what got the whole thing about the stories and the angels going. You know, so this week we're gonna touch on some other things, and we're gonna look a little deeper at three of them if we can get through them. Hey Hope, how are you, my darling? Welcome. So the first of the, in fact, let me take care of a little bit more housekeeping. Don't get too comfortable on Facebook Live. Come on over to the Stew Pot on kevinstew.com. It is what others call a chat room, but because we're fancy over here on kevinstew.com, and it is a Stew Pot. It's our interactive portal where we keep things bubbling, and it's a judgment-free zone. So come in, share your views, tell your stories. We just ask that you keep it clean, but you're welcome. That bottom line is you're welcome, because right here on kevinstew.com, it's the home of the night shift, where we are encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment. And at the end of the day, that's what we strive for. Enlightenment. Cool? Yeah. It's a movement. Get with it. So, first thing we're looking at tonight, the brief version. We'll get into details a little bit later on. Deja vu. You ever had that moment where you go, wait, have I had this moment before? Yeah, that one. So, deja vu is a French word meaning already seen, referring to the distinct, puzzling, and mysterious feeling of having experienced a specific set of circumstances before. A woman might walk into a building, for example, in a foreign country that she had never been to, and the sense that the setting is eerily and intimately familiar. Some attribute deja vu to psychic experiences or unbidden glimpses of previous lives. As with intuition, which is one of the other things that we want to look at tonight, research into human psychology can offer more naturalistic explanations. But ultimately, the cause and nature of the phenomenon, that which is called deja vu, it's just a mystery. I have had several of those deja vu moments. Outside of being a part of Deja Vu Theatre Company, which I was a part of that movement for a little while, actively a part of that movement for a little while, to have that experience of deja vu where you experience something before, been somewhere, walked along the street, had that experience. I've had it a number of times, and I remember the first time it happened to me, Well, not that I remember exactly the first time it happened to me, but I do remember as a child having that experience. And I said, but didn't this happen before? And someone that heard me say that, an adult nearby, immediately said, oh, deja vu. And I was like, excuse you? I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know if I should say Gesundheit or what, you know. So that was the first time I learned of deja vu. And they simply said, you know, it's where you experience something that you had an experience that you feel you experienced before. So kind of eerie, but kind of cool at the same time, because it really lets you think, have we been here before? I had a discussion with two separate people about time and how everything is cyclical. So the whole idea, the concept that we could have experienced something before, it's not that far-fetched. Because if we're energy, and energy cannot be created nor destroyed, it just changed form, then everything is cyclical. Fashion comes back around, weather patterns come around, storms are shown on the Weather Channel in a circle. You know, all these things happen cyclically. So why can't our energy be moving in that same type of cycle? Yeah, I know it goes against the things that are considered religious. But even in the Bible, it speaks of another coming. So you take it from there. The next thing is on the list, UFOs. Now, there's no doubt that unidentified flying objects exist. Because if you see something in the sky and you don't know what it is, then up until the moment it's identified, it's a UFO. Many people see things in the skies that they cannot identify, ranging from aircraft to meteors. Now, whether or not any of these objects and lights are actually alien or alien spacecraft, well, that's another matter entirely. Given the fantastic distances and effort involved in just getting to Earth from across the universe, such a scenario as we know it seems unlikely. But if the Creator, as we know the Creator or know of the Creator, is all-powerful and created the Earth, why would that be the only creation? Bum, bum, bum. Still, while careful investigation has revealed known causes for most sighting reports, some UFO incidents will remain unexplained. The other thing is that you need to be mindful of is where you're getting your information from. So here it is again. We have these revealed known causes of that unidentified flying object. But is that explanation just so that they can keep the information hush-hush? Because to this day, people are saying, yeah, Area 51 exists and it's somewhere out there in Nevada, in the desert. But nobody can really say where exactly Area 51 is. So that in and of itself is a mystery. So if something that is as human as a military base or a government institution, a government facility, is a mystery, why can't something like aliens from out of space be a mystery also? And a mystery in the sense, not in the sense that it doesn't exist, but a mystery in the sense that it exists and we don't know what it is or where they're from. That kind of a mystery. So, we continue. The other mysterious thing that many people cannot explain, and we heard just, 2 weeks ago, in Community and Finance, we had Audrey Arbery, and she was sharing of an experience she had that, using her own words, she said it's a near-death experience. And this is what we're going to look at next, that near-death experience, that seeing the light but not going into the light. People who were once near death have sometimes reported various mystical experiences. They going into a tunnel and emerging in a light, being reunited with loved ones, a sense of peace, all these things. And they might suggest an existence beyond the grave. While such experiences are profound, no one has really returned with proof or verifiable information from beyond the grave. And skeptics that have experiences are explainable as natural and predictable hallucinations of a traumatized brain. Sounds really scientific. A study of people in cardiac arrest in 2015 found that when the heart is dying, it gets prepped or peppered by signals from the brain, which tries to stay alive. The scramble of signals might be responsible for the near-death experiences, and this is what researchers are saying. However, that's just a theory. It's a thought. There's no concrete evidence of that either. Yeah, you can track signals and impulses, but you can't tell the individual that they didn't see what they saw. They didn't have the experience that they did, because that is their experience. And Audrey gave an account of her experience where she saw this light. Now, is it that so many people have started saying that this is what their experience is, that whenever someone has that experience, now they turn around and they say, well, I had that near-death experience and this is what happened. This is what I saw. I saw the tunnel and I saw the light and it felt good. It was warm. It was welcoming. I saw my relatives and they smiled at me and one said, it's not time yet, go back. It sounds fantastic. Why can't it be true? So that's another thing that is yet to be explained. But of course, like they said, the skeptics, it's experiences that are explainable as natural and predictable hallucinations of a traumatized brain. Something to also bear in mind, we only use a fraction of the capacity of our brain. That's what we're told, right? And those that use more can do more. So, could it be that in dying you start using parts of your brain, or you're connecting and getting impulses from parts of the brain that reach out and put you in a state that you can have other experiences? Again, we're energy. Who knows? And speaking of energy, and of course you talk about energy, you start talking about powers. Psychic powers and extrasensory perception rank among the top 10 unexplained phenomena, if for no other reason than that belief in them is so widespread. Yeah, just for that. If nothing else, just for that. Many people believe that intuition is a form of psychic power, a way of accessing arcane or special knowledge about the world or the future. Researchers have tested people who claim to have psychic powers, though the results under controlled scientific conditions have so far been negative or ambiguous. Some have argued that psychic powers cannot be tested, or for some reason diminish the presence of skeptics or scientists. Now, if this is true, science will never be able to prove or disprove the existence of psychic powers. Who was it? This Jamaican psychic, Babatunde. Right? Babatunde. When Babatunde died, the talk after that was, so he didn't see that coming. And it's kind of funny. It's not funny that he died, may his soul rest in peace. But they would say, well, if you can see things, why can't you see that? How did you not see that this was coming for you? One of the arguments that I have heard along the way is people that have these gifts don't have it for themselves. So if they can see what is going to happen in your life, then someone else has to come along to share with them what is going to happen in their life, because the gift is not for them, but the gift is for others. So they have to give it to others in order to fulfill their destiny. Sounds plausible, right? Makes sense. I believe it makes sense. If you don't believe it makes sense, that's fine. This is my show. I can believe whatever I want. But really and truly though, it shouldn't be that it is a no and it cannot be. You see what I'm saying? There needs to be some room left to say, well, that possibility exists. Because if nothing else is an absolute, why should this be? Next is the body and mind connection, which is a special type of connection, and medical science is only beginning to understand the ways in which the mind influences the body. Only just now. Not from a long time ago, not forever, just now. The placebo effect, for example, demonstrates that people can at times cause a relief in medical symptoms or suffering by believing the cures to be effective, whether they actually are or not. It's placebo effect. Using process only. Using processes only poorly understood, the body's ability to heal itself is far more amazing than anything modern medicine could create. Because the creator is the creator. So while there are many unexplained phenomena, and some of them are dubious, the explainable science of the body and mind, even if we're still trying to figure out much of it, that may be among the most amazing phenomena of them all. The mind and body connection. So think about it. How many have been told, well, as you think it, that's so it will be. Or if you think well of yourself, then well you will be. If you think healthy, you will be healthy. If it's the Abraham Hicks talks about it, the laws of attraction. So you think positive comes along your way because that's what you're attracting. If you're thinking negative, then that's what's gonna come your way. You know that moment when you're thinking about someone and boom, you get a phone call or you get a text message. That kind of a thing. Far-fetched? Who knows? We're gonna look into some of those in a little bit more detail. We're gonna look into ESP. We're gonna look into deja-vu. We're gonna look into intuition. See what we can come up with. Look at just look at them in a little bit more detail. 773-789-STEW gets you in touch. You can call, you can text, you can WhatsApp, you can Skype me at kevin.stew. You can email me djkevinstew@gmail.com. You can jump into the stew pot. That's what I recommend to everybody to do. Just jump on into the stew pot. kevinstew.com and boom, you're there. You don't have to do anything else. What you see on the video when you go on kevinstew.com, that is live. So you don't have to do anything else. Just go to kevinstew.com and you're done. If you want to change your name in the stew pot, feel free. If not, remain anonymous. That's cool too. But we do invite your feedback. We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to talk some more. Call a friend, tell a friend, share this out. We're talking third eye seeing right here on Real Talk on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. We'll be right back and we're going to say deuces to Facebook. Come on over to the stew pot. Later, y'all.
Pulsey Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulsey Media Group.
I'm Khalid Thompson.
And I'm David Muir.
And we are the co-founders of a cultural nonprofit in Florida called Island Space.
For many reasons, now more than ever, we need the support of our communities.
As Caribbean Americans, we have the unique ability to claim everyone from the island as members of our Caribbean American family.
We are working to create a home for that family.
The Island Archives will become an internationally recognized museum of history.
Visitors can learn that although we are unique, we are truly stronger together.
Learn more at islandspacefl.org.
It takes an entire village to raise a child. Hello, I'm Paul Campbell, here to talk about Palace. Peace and Love Academic Scholarship. This nonprofit group supports students facing serious obstacles from entering or continuing their studies, not because the grades are failing, but due to the lack of financial support.
Over the past 8 years, Palace has awarded 600 scholarships valued at approximately 50.3 million Jamaican dollars, or 415,000 US dollars.
Together, we must build a better future for our children. Please visit www.palace1.org and make your donation to brighten the future of a deserving child. Palace, preserving young minds for posterity.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is working to help keep you and your community safe from the threat of novel or new coronavirus. Take the following everyday steps to help avoid the spread of all respiratory viruses. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue. Throw the tissue away and then wash your hands. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects or surfaces, such as remote controls and doorknobs. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. And stay home if you are sick. Call your healthcare provider if you develop fever, cough, or difficulty breathing. For more tips, visit cdc.gov.
Hey yo, this is Caramanti letting you know that right about now you are logged on to DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift. Don't move.
Eyes open up, I'm waking up. Life love, me not give up. It got me just, so do it up. I just keep the walk. You can't fail if you try no way. Let God be your guide all day. If you're all every time I say, just know you are not penny nobody. Right now all you have is today. Go all out and not go halfway. You can't win, that is all I say. Just know you are not penny nobody. So when you're meditating, I got money, good life you're penetrating. You want those big straight elevating. Go hard right now, no waiting. The question is what you do today, king. You can't cheat life, that I know debating. You have to put in the work, forget the great things. All night, all day, till you see the scrapings. Ching. You can't fail if you try no way. Let God be your guide all day. Give your all every time I say. Just do you want no penny nobody. Right now all you have is today. Go all out and no go halfway. You can win, that is all I say. Just do you want no penny nobody. Me I beg your overs when me talk. Me no mean you fi work hard. When me mean is your face man, massa. Cause some who know about what. Now see my who know yard. Always pan guard, no sir. You fi include the master. Overstand say that a the forecaster. Get balance with God in the center. So everything you want you will get that faster. You can't fail if you try no way. Let God be your guide all day. Give your all every time I say. Just do you want no penny nobody. Right now all you have is today. Go all out and no go halfway. You can win, that is all I say. Just do.
Talk about in encouraging the positive.
If you try no way, let God be.
This is Caramanti. Track called Eyes Open Up.
Just do you want no penny nobody.
From her album Hurt People.
Go all out and no go halfway. You can win, that is all I say. Just do you want no penny nobody.
I want to say thanks to my segment sponsor, Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands. Thank you, Althea, for sponsoring this segment of the show. Althea is a licensed massage therapist that comes to you if you're in Broad County, North Miami-Dade, South Palm Beach counties. She brings her table, she has her oils, and of course her Healing Heavenly Hands. Only request, you get off the table when she's done. That is outside of you paying her. Because it's easy to fall asleep at these hands. I've done it, I should know. Give her a call, 954-655-9000, or email her at thealater@att.net.
You can win, that is all I say.
Make sure you're COVID negative. And preferably be able to prove it. Son of Caramanti, eyes open up. You can't feel if you try. You know, when I was growing up, one of the things that my mother used to say to me, outside of try and try and try again, is nothing beats a trial but a failure. So if you don't try, then you won't fail. And to some that might be a great thing, because now you don't have the stress of having had a failure. But the rest of it is important also. You cannot learn something effectively unless there's some failure along the way. Nobody gets up and is the master at whatever it is they're doing. Which means along the path to this mastery, they have fallen, they have failed. You know, the electric bulb as we know it, that didn't just happen. The automobile, that didn't just happen. Airplanes didn't just happen. There were some crashes along the way. With the bulbs, there were some explosions. There were some misfires. So, and even today, some of those things, well, all of those things are still being improved on, including us as individuals. So, going back to the matter at hand, and we said we look into a little bit more detail with some of the things that we touched on. Again, 773-789-STEW, get you in touch. 773-789-7839. You can call, you can text, you can WhatsApp, and that includes WhatsApp calling, just so that you know. All right. All right. So with deja vu, what exactly is happening? There's an expert that says, you know, I can give you an idea as to what is going on. That feeling that what you're currently doing has already happened. You know, it's that like feeling like being in a twilight zone, if you can describe being in a twilight zone. There are things that your brain is trying to tell you when you experience deja vu. While deja vu can make you feel like you've already seen or been somewhere before, it's likely all in your head. Well, according to science anyway. Scientific American reported in 2014 that small seizures in the brain responsible for memory formation and retrieval could be the reason something suddenly feels familiar, despite your having never experienced it before. Cognitive scientists actually know exactly what happens in your brain when you experience deja vu. And they kind of break it down for us. So, neuropsychologist Sanam Hafeez, and that's Hafeez, tells bustle.com, one section of the hippocampus, a small curved part of the brain, activates two different neural circuits, which concurrently absorb your present experience, while the second circuit assesses memories. She goes on to say, this occurrence gives us the sense that we have seen or experienced something before. Don't you just love when science puts things into perspective? This misfiring is often nothing to worry about. A 2003 study published in the Journal of Nervous and Mental Disease found that over 70% of people experience it. If you're wondering what your brain is trying to tell you, though, this is what deja vu might communicate. You ready? All right, strap in, fasten your seatbelts. Don't get the strap on. that's another show. So your brain is trying to tell you that you're not paying attention. Apparently, the more distracted you are, the more likely you are to experience deja vu. Let's think about that for a moment. The more distracted we are, the more likely we are to experience deja vu. So all those times that I have experienced that thing that I feel that I had experienced before, I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. Sometimes that was while I was driving. So I'm just mindlessly driving? What are you telling me here? This is called a split perception theory. If you're looking at your phone or distracted by something else, only a glance around quickly, your perception might be split into two parts rather than one, and makes your hippocampus slightly confused. Look at things more closely, though, and the feeling will likely dissipate. All right, here's what I have to say about that, scientists. What happened to the fact that you felt you experienced this before, so when you experience it, that makes the feeling go away because now you've had the experience and you're aware of being in this time, this space, this place, whereas before you weren't aware that you were there. How about that for a theory? Oh, that's a problem because there's nothing to prove it, right? Well, how do you prove this, that the hippocampus went off into two different directions? Just because you're a scientist and that's what you say happened? I have a theory too. This is my DJ theory. You keep your DR theory. This is my DJ theory. So, the other thing that your brain is telling you is that the experience actually happened. Really? No, like, really? Sometimes when you have deja vu, it might not actually be deja vu at all. The feeling of familiarity could be happening because you've actually had the same experience in the past, but simply don't remember it. This time, this very thing, you've experienced it before in the past, but you don't remember experiencing it in the past because you were wearing this very same thing and you're this very same age, but it happened in the past, not now. A study published in Current Directions in Psychological Science in 2008 found that deja vu can often be related to things you've seen and done, even if you don't remember it, in a different country altogether that you've never been to. Interestingly, research published in Consciousness and Cognition in 2018 discovered that space matters when it comes to deja vu. If a place is laid out the same way as another location, you might experience deja vu, even if the two places look nothing alike. The layout is just the same. So, that explains the layout of a place. What explains having a conversation that you had before? Is it because you had the conversation before? You don't remember having a conversation before? Then why is it that the person that you're talking to didn't remember it either? Oh, they forgot that they had a conversation with you? 773-789-STEW. 773-789-7839. I want to hear from you guys. I can't be the only one thinking these things. Marlon, am I alone in this one? I don't know. I might be alone in this one. So, another thing that your brain could be telling you is that you have a dominant eye. Right eye, left eye, third eye, which eye? While you might think of your eyes as pair with each being equal, most people have a dominant eye, which could contribute to feelings of deja vu. So my good eye is what makes me see things that I haven't experienced before. Or I'm just looking at this all wrong. Dr. Michael Roizen and Dr. Mehmet Oz explained in the Cleveland Plain Dealer. If that stronger eye sends information to the subconscious before the eyes focus and register the input as a conscious experience, your brain will tell you, hey, I've seen that before. And in essence, you have. But it was just a nanosecond ago. There's no scientific evidence to back up this theory right now. But that's what the doctors say. And because they are doctors, then it must be true. Right? Wrong. Because, again, they're focusing on something that is seen. So you see a particular setting, and that is what it is. You know, you've been here before because the focus is on the setting. But I am not looking at the setting. I'm also looking at that experience, that conversation. That if I'm talking to you and I say to you, well, didn't you just say that? Or I say, you've said that before. I've had this conversation with you before. However, we're just meeting. Then how does the theory of a dominant eye come into play? Because I it's not that I saw what you were saying. Although I see what they're saying. you know what I mean. So how does that work? Another thing is that your brain could be telling you is that you need more sleep. Now, that in and of itself seems simple enough. If you've been skimming on sleep and have more experiences of deja vu than is normal for you, your brain is likely telling you need to get some shut-eye. Stress, exhaustion, and traveling a lot can trigger more frequent experiences of deja vu, according to Penn Medicine. It's not known why fatigue or stress might make you experience more deja vu, but it's possible that the strain might make the brain more likely to misfire or make mistakes. Or your brain is more active, so you're using up more of your brain's capacity and you're connecting with this cyclical energy, having passed through this time and space before. I just love tossing that in the mix. Listen, they can put out their theories, I can put out mine too. There's another one that your memory might be correcting itself. We're looking at deja vu for those of you who are just tuning in. If you're tuning in on TuneIn Radio or one of the affiliate stations, listening in somewhere, we're looking at things that the third eye might be seeing too. And now we're focusing really on deja vu. So one of the reasons people experience deja vu, according to one of the other theories, is that your memory might be correcting itself. It's something called memory mismatch. And this is according to a study published in Frontiers in Neuroscience in 2013. The researchers note that brain regions associated with memory conflict might be behind deja vu, and describe memory conflict as the conscious awareness of discrepancy in memory signals being corrected. You got that? Let me say it again. Memory conflict. They describe memory conflict as the conscious awareness of a discrepancy in memory signals being corrected. So what your memory thought that it was remembering, it didn't actually remember, and it is now being corrected. So your memory makes mistakes too. The hippocampus, according to this theory, produces deja vu because you're remembering something slightly incorrectly. Which one is slightly incorrect? The experience that you're aware of yourself having, or the experience that you were not aware that you had? Which one is being corrected? On a more serious note, it could be a sign of epilepsy. So, while a little deja vu now and then is very common, getting a lot can be a signal that something is awry. Deja vu is commonly reported by patients with epilepsy. Hafiz tells Bossel that for people with the disorder, deja vu can be caused by focal seizures, which occur in small parts of the brain and can induce disorienting feelings and experiences, like tasting something that isn't in your mouth. Now, if that happens increasingly or is accompanied by other symptoms, such as abnormal visual experiences or problems with your vision or motor motions like mouth or facial movements, you can inquire about your experience with your doctor. Alright, so you taste something, but you don't have it in your mouth. And then you get it. So you're experiencing it, but you said you experienced this before, although you've never had it. Okay, so I am epileptic. I guess. I don't know. Another thing your brain could be telling you is the deja vu happened in a past life. Now, if you believe in past lives, Dr. Judith Orloff, author of Second Light, an intuitive psychiatrist, tells her story and shows you how to trap your own inner wisdom, wrote on her blog that deja vu can occur when you experience something now that has already happened to you in a past life. She used an example of a woman who met someone and knew right away she was going to marry that person. The couple both felt as if they've known each other their entire lives. Needless to say, I've had that experience on more than one occasion. There are situations that are glitches in time. When the rules bend and the mystery takes hold. That's what that is. Enchanted moments that sparkle. These are deja vu. They can take place anywhere and anytime with anyone. Or Orlov says your real estate agent might show you a house that feels so familiar and right. You instantly know it's yours. Or perhaps you're in a restaurant and sense an inexplicable kinship with a woman sitting in the back corner booth. Don't let these possibilities pass you by. Take notice. Investigate. It's worth noting that a study of deja vu in psychological science in 2018 revealed that while people who experienced it felt very strongly that they were able to predict future events based on it, the feeling seemed to be illusionary. It's common to feel that your experience with deja vu is supernatural, but it's hard to prove. Well, it's hard to prove that it isn't. because you had the experience. So if you are going to say that the experience that you had you didn't actually have, then how can you say that this experience that you're having you are actually having? Another thing your brain could be telling you is that you're on the right path in life. Life basically throws a bunch of stuff at the wall and sees what sticks. And you might not always be sure you're on the right path. According to a blog by Radhika Mehrotra on Speaking Tree, deja vu might be your brain's way of telling you that you're heading in the right direction. It's basically a message from your higher self telling you to keep going. Again, there's no scientific evidence for this, but it's a nice thought if you want some reassurance. Another thought is you're experiencing the tuning fork phenomenon. And for those of you who know how tuning forks work, you get that right pitch and it resonates and it's in sync. If you're like Fox Mulder on X-Files and you believe in the existence of more than one universe, you might want to consider that your deja vu is a result of something called tuning fork phenomenon. The tuning fork phenomenon relates to when the frequencies of a person's mind temporarily match the frequencies of minds of other living people or subtle bodies in the afterlife. The Spiritual Research Foundation put that information out. Whatever the reason is for your eerie experiences, though, it's usually totally normal if you're going to be to know that you're going to be just fine. If you experience deja vu and it is worrying you, it might be reassuring to chat with your doctor or a neurologist. But I haven't heard of deja vu killing anyone. So I don't really think you need to be that worried about it. That's just my opinion, but I'm only a DJ, not a DR. So it's the top of the hour, and I should take another break. I want to touch really quickly on intuition, and I want to touch on ESP. Can I do that after we come back from the break? Let's see what we can pull out of the hat. And we're gonna take a quick little break, get some words in and from our sponsors, and then we'll see where we go from here. It's a night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Real Talk Wednesdays, we're keeping it light tonight. Things that we experience, but we never really asked the questions about. ESP, intuition. We're going to look at those when we come back. We'll be right back. Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com. Your links to worship and praise.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school, I learned that I'm ugly and useless. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. In history, I learned that I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick. And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me.
In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid.
In English,
And in math,
that I make people
I
sick.
learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today.
The only thing I didn't learn today.
The only thing I didn't learn
It's why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.
It's Christina representing for DJ Kevin. You see me, I say, I don't know the boss. You see me, I say, DJ Kevin Stew and the night shift radio show. Yo, it at the thing, turn up the thing loud. Whoa, DJ Kevin Stew at the heart of a champion. Never underestimate, just choose him. The silver line behind the dark clouds. DJ Kevin Stew, believe him, and that's no doubt. Salute the night shift radio show, Christina. It's a hot it up. Loud. With these.
Overflow. You are once a glory. Need your love no more. No. So you can live your life while I go on live mine. I wish you good luck and goodbye. I'll see you around sometime. It's time for you to be wise, yeah. Take off your love disguise.
Want to welcome you all back to the show. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, I do apologize to you guys in the studio part for missing y'all's comments. I was looking at a different section of the stew pot. Don't ask me how, don't ask me why. I was looking at the outside of the pot instead of the inside of the pot. Big ups to CL. Welcome back, bro. Thank you for the support. Hey, Nikki. Yeah, they're not taking into consideration the soul when they look at some of these things. You don't think people get to choose what they see what they see. I agree. And we could make a little poem out of that. Right, CL? You don't get to choose what you see what you see. Do you agree? Are you with me? Hey, don't play with me, you know. I have skills too. Want to say thank you to my segment sponsor, Reggae Global Entertainment. Reggae Global can be your booking agents, take care of your tour management, your social media marketing, your photography, videography, legal contracts, copyright, publishing, business registrations, music production, marketing and promotion, and so much more. Give them a call, 954-998-8034. And watch out for Reggae Global Radio. It's only about a month away. Yeah, Marlon, I got some skills, you know, I got a little something. Check out reggaeglobalentertainment.com. The sound of Hezron for all the Hezites. It's called Once Again. Whose tune is this, Marlon? Is this Gregory? So CL said, if you dream something that happens at a later date, essentially you've seen the future, right? I think so. Now that being the case, if we can see the future, then it isn't far-fetched that we can see or relive the past. You know, CL, I think you might want to go ahead and get that DR before your name. So then you'd be author Dr. C.L. Brown. Yeah? I think so. Because that's just profound. Yeah, so it's, yeah, I thought it was Gregory's. Yeah, Hezron, big ups to Hezron. I want to say big ups to my dear sweet cousin out of Kingston, Jamaica. Well, you in Portmore now. Out of Jamaica. Hey, cuz, how you doing? Yeah, the Dr. C.L. Brown, it kind of rolls off your tongue, doesn't it? Author Dr. C.L. Brown. So, ESP. Not ESPN, but ESP. What does science say about it? Well, here we go. And science like to dissect things. So let's go dissecting. You ever answer the phone only to hear the person that you were just thinking about on the other end? I have on a number of occasions. In fact, I've willed it to happen, and it has happened. But I guess that's for another story. I don't know. Ever had a dream about something that later actually happened? CL was just talking about this. Ever felt like somebody read your mind? Now, if anybody can read my mind, I'll pay them. Because I don't even know what's in my head sometimes. Ever felt any of those things? Well, some people may interpret these sorts of experiences as extrasensory perception. ESP for short. It is defined as an awareness of the world that occurs through some mechanism other than the known senses. Mind reading, sensing when a far-off friend is in trouble, foreseeing the future, and other phenomena more commonly associated with illusion artists than with science. Listen, that feeling that someone is in trouble, that's real. Ask any mother. That is real. Science deals with observations of the natural world. Far, far off galaxies to microorganisms to human behavior, and can shed light on natural explanations for those observations. So, what does science have to say about ESP? Though ESP might not seem like something scientists would examine, the results of ESP, knowledge of events in the world, are well within the realm of science, and so we can use the tools of science to study phenomena sometimes attributed to ESP. Now, using these tools, scientists have studied whether ESP exists. their experiments have explored all kinds of ESP, but most have focused on mind reading. In the most typical of these experiments, one person, the sender, goes through a deck of cards, each depicting one of 5 symbols, like a star or a cross, while another person, the receiver, tries to determine what symbol the sender is looking at. Now, to eliminate any tips from body language, the sender is often shielded from view. If the receiver were to correctly identify the symbol more often than could be explained by chance, it would suggest that ESP does indeed exist. However, researchers have found that receivers aren't particularly accurate in these experiments. So no evidence of mind reading or any other sort of ESP has been found. Since science hasn't uncovered any evidence that ESP even exists, no scientific investigations of its potential mechanisms have been undertaken. So, this is pretty much along the lines that, well, if you can't see it, then it doesn't exist. Is it along that kind of a line, that kind of a reasoning that the scientists have approached ESP? ESP itself is neither scientific nor unscientific, but it can be studied scientifically or unscientifically, and scientific studies find no support of the hypothesis that ESP exists. Those who ignore the evidence that insist that ESP is real, natural phenomenon fail to meet one of the key aspects of scientific behavior: assimilating the evidence. So, that's what science has to say about ESP. However, we go on and we have those experiences where we think and it manifests. Thinking it into being? I don't know. Mere coincidence? Well, if nothing is coincidental, then what is it? Because science always wants hard proof of something to then say, okay, now we have proof, right? So, with that being said, what about intuition? Now, intuition is a form of knowledge that appears in consciousness without obvious deliberation. It's not magical, but rather a faculty in which hunches are generated by the unconscious mind, rapidly sifting through past experiences and cumulative knowledge. Often referred to as gut feelings, intuition tends to arise holistically and quickly without awareness of the underlying mental processing of information. Scientists have repeatedly demonstrated how information can register on the brain without conscious awareness and positively influence decision making and other behavior. So, where does this intuition come from? Psychologists believe that intuition relies on powers of pattern matching. As the mind combs experience stored in long-term memory for similar situations and present the in-the-moment judgments based on them, the automatic information processing that underlies intuition can be seen in the everyday phenomenon known as highway hypnosis, which occurs when a driver travels for miles without a conscious thought about the activity of driving the car. So that's when you're going along and you go, when did I get here? Did I miss something? When did I pass my exit? Along that line. It's also called falling asleep at the wheel. Is intuition the same thing as gut feelings? Is it? Intuition is often referred to as gut feelings, as they seem to arise fully formed from some deep part in us. In fact, they are the product of brain processing that automatically compares swiftly perceived elements of current experience with past experience and knowledge. And they are delivered to awareness with considerable emotional certainty. So, because of that, because it comes from somewhere deep down within, it's a gut feeling, or because you feel that feeling in the pit of your stomach. Intuition, like first impression, serves the brain's need to predict and prepare for what will happen next. Talk about not living in the moment. First impressions are rapid, holistic assessments of people based on subtle perceptual clues and judgments of intent to help or harm. Both rely on automatic processes, and as rapid evaluation systems, both are subject to error, especially from biases we hold. Now, could intuition be considered sixth sense? For those of you who missed it, I did a whole show on first impressions, making that first impression, and one of the remarkable things about that first impression show is that your first impression is often right, believe it or not. So that love at first sight thing, yeah, it's really love at first sight. Now, what happens on the second sighting? Well, that's different. But at first sight, it was actually love. After that, it becomes something else. And that something else is to be determined. Now, because human survival depends on avoiding danger, our mental apparatus is wired to be especially sensitive to signs of danger, and to register them before we can recognize and act on them. That knowledge is a product of the brain's built-in negativity bias and can feel intuitive. However, it is not always accurate, as the early warning system errs on the side of false alarms. So, yeah, the brain, you typically know the right thing, and you typically are aware of certain dangers, but sometimes, just sometimes, you get it wrong. Because we're not perfect. So, when is it that you actually trust these feelings? Our gut feelings are often correct. That has been the general consensus. But we tend to attach a certainty to them that they don't always merit. The gut feelings, that is. They do tend to be more accurate in some domains of experience than others, such as in the formation of first impressions. Intuition is also often valuable in detecting deception and other forms of danger, and in detecting sexual orientation also. Gut feelings do have their value in complex decision making. Studies of top executives show that even after they analyze mounds of data, the information does not tell them what to do. That is where intuition is a guide. People typically cite rational seeming criteria for their actions and do not disclose the subjective preferences or of feelings that arise spontaneously. So, that decision to do something, yeah, that moment when you hit the fork in the road and you say, something is telling me that I shouldn't go left today, I should go right. Because both ways take you where you want to go. It's just that one might be a little bit longer. But then you follow that instinct and you take that way that would normally be a little bit longer, and it ends up being a little bit shorter because something happened on the way if you would go left. And then you go, boy, it's a good thing I followed my mind. Yeah, that intuition, that instinct, that gut feeling. Then, in hindsight, you were right. Which leads now to talking about the hindsight bias and leaning toward that, which is not unusual. It's what we do. Experts find that intuition, no matter how right it feels, is more reliable in some areas of activity than others. For example, it can help you generate new ideas or new figures of speech, but don't count on it for comprehending vocabulary, where reflective thinking better fits the task. Or in judging job candidates. Many situations actually utilize a combination of intentional reflective deliberation and automatic intuition. Which then asks the question, are some people more intuitive than others? Are some just a little bit more in touch? Intuition is a thinking style, and people differ in the degree to which they rely on intuition reflection on the one hand and automatic knowledge on the other. In addition, people differ in a specific facet of intuitive ability, namely implicit learning, or the capacity for taking in complex information without being aware of having learned it. Some people have more experience and expertise stored in their memory database against which current perceptions can be matched. So that's how you pretty much weigh the two. So if in taking that into consideration, could you learn to be intuitive? Learning is one of the things that relies on memory input and retrieval. That's the basis of learning. So you now you have learned how to draw a car. That happened by one, putting in the shape of a car into your mind, and having tried to draw it before and failed and fixed some areas. Now you have gotten better. Now you can reproduce that drawing in such a way that you seem to be a master. So you have learned how to do it. A series of input and retrieval. And although the mechanisms of memory operate outside conscious awareness, most often deliberate efforts is needed to acquire the information to be stored in memory. In fact, intuition is not a good guide to tell how well you are learning something. Intuition suggests that long stretches of studying or practice are best for learning, when evidence indicates that studying in shorter chunks is more effective. You get that? So intuitive suggests that long stretches of studying or practice are best for learning, when evidence indicates that studying in shorter chunks is more effective. That's why you have some people that sit down and study for days, and then you have those that study a little bit here, take a break, study a little bit there, take a break, study a little bit over here, and take a break. That kind of studying is said to be more effective because you take it in, you get to churn it up, and you can reproduce that little bit. Now you add to that little bit, and you know this and this now. Versus studying all of this and have to remember all of this. No, take this, and then you add, when you got that, you add this to it. Now you have this and this. And then you add this to it. You already have this and this stored away. So now you can add this. That's why you don't learn everything at once. There you go. So you have intuition, you got that experience. Can you make it better? Well, it is possible to hone your powers of intuition, so to speak. To some degree, intuition stems from expertise, which relies on tacit knowledge. Strengthening intuition requires making use of feedback, comparing the real life outcomes of situations with the intuitive decisions you've made. Even so, being highly intuitive in one domain of experience does not guarantee reliability in every area. So, take those things into consideration too. Not because you have a little bit of an idea of this little thing and you think you're intuitive, that means that you can you have it all. You're saying that, you know what, I got this. Nobody can tell me X, Y, or Z. Well, that is knowledge. That's not intuition. That is knowledge. You know a little bit of something. That's not being intuitive. Being intuitive is that feeling that you have about that particular thing, and you go with that feeling. And if, in my opinion, if that happens and you pay attention to it more often than not and it works out in your favor, then I would say you're more intuitive than the person that doesn't pay attention to it and it doesn't work out in their favor. Is it law of numbers? I don't know. Is it just luck of the draw? I don't know. For sure, I don't know. In my opinion, yeah. Do I know? No. And these are the things when we listen to people, and especially people that we hold high in esteem, and they say certain things and we run with it just because they feel a particular type of way about it. Doesn't mean, again, that they're knowledgeable of it. It's just a feeling that they're going with. Now, if going with their feelings work most of the time, as has happened with a lot of stockbrokers, yes, they look at the trends. They look at resistance markers, and they look at history. But a lot of times they just go with how they feel based on what they know. It's a little bit fuzzy in there. It's a little bit of a gray area, because it's not full knowledge of where things are going, and it is not full feeling of where things are going. It's a little bit of a blend of both. But definitely, when you have that little feeling that comes out of nowhere that says, yo, stop right here and go the other way, do it. Pay attention and do it. The thought came to you for a reason. Remember, at the core of it all, we are energy. Whether it is that I can tap into your energy from focusing really hard or not, whether it is that in another time, in another place, our energies were so intertwined that there are things that can happen today that will influence we will influence each other through doing them. Pay attention. Something, you got the thought, you got the feeling, you got that word, you heard it really clear in your head. It happened for a reason. Those who are religious will tell you that it is whether they believe in angels or gods, whomever, they will tell you that it is of these heavenly creatures, not subscribing to any particular religion. And the spiritual will just say to you, well, take the advice that you're getting, because the spirit is within you and your soul is connected. So listen. Because, Nikki mentioned it earlier, there isn't the consideration of the soul that is taken into account with looking at a lot of these things. And everybody believes that we have a soul. Now, the actual definition of this soul, or the scientific proof of this soul, isn't there. But how can we say that it doesn't exist when it has even become a part of our jargon? It's a part of our language. To say that someone is cold and callous, we tell them that we would say they have no soul. But then again, we also say it for someone who cannot feel certain types of music or cannot play music in a certain way. You have some musicians that just play notes and it sounds one way, and then you have some other musician that come and play the same music, whether it is written music or they learnt it orally, and it's a totally different feel. They'd say one has soul and the other has technique. Two different things. So there we have it. We have explored things from a scientific side of things the third eye sees too. And I titled tonight's show as Third Eye Seeing too, because it's a continuation of last week's show, which we titled Third Eye Seeing. So it's just a little bit of a play on words there. But I think it works, don't you? Don't you think it works? Yeah. So we get to wrap up this tonight, and next week, Real Talk will take us somewhere else. Where exactly it will take us right now, I don't know. In fact, if you want to give me an idea, if you have something in mind and you want to touch on that, shoot me a message. 773-789-STEW. Leave a message right here in the stew pot, kevinstew.com. There's a contact me section at the bottom of the page of the website, kevinstew.com. You can go there too and shoot me a message. It comes into my email. So you have no excuse. If there's something that is on your mind that you'd love to have discussed on this show, let's do it. That's what Real Talk is all about. We keep it real around here. Right, Marlon? That's why it's Marlon's favorite night shift show, because we really keep it real. As we go into musical therapy, the very, 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 very first recording of Nikki Blaze. It's called Lost in Illusion.
I see them lost. Oh, yes, I see them. Lost in illusion. Lost in illusion. I see them lost. Oh, yes, I see them. Lost in delusion. And now they reside in the state of confusion. Why is it that my race remains poor? My race sitting on the jail floors. My race fighting to knock down doors. Same race they stole from across the shore. My race that built this great nation, still trapped on my plantation. I see them love. Oh yes, I see them. Lost in illusion. Lost in illusion. I see them love. Oh yes, I see them. Lost in delusion. And now they reside in a state of confusion. Rwanda, Haiti, down in Darfur, Jamaica, they're crying out but one to start a revolution. Please don't play into the illusion. Oh, I see them lost, yeah, I see them lost, yo, in a state of confusion. Wake up, wake up, wake up, yeah. Oh, I see them lost, I see them lost, I see them running, running, running. Oh, I see them running. Oh.
Want to say thank you to GMAT Music Solutions for sponsoring the musical therapy segment.
I wanna tell you to you now.
GMAT Music Solution brings your event to life, providing sound, light, and stage production services, musical equipment, musicians, singers, DJs, bands, audio engineers, PA systems, and so much more. Check them out on gmatmusicsolutions.com. You can also do your online shopping there. Give them a call, 754-307-4622. Quick way to remember it, 754-307-GMAC.
I see them love, lost in delusion, and now they reside in a state of confusion. I see them love, yes, I see them lost in illusion. I see them love, oh yes, I see them in delusion, and now they reside in a state of confusion.
Every man will have a lesson, every man will have a turn to make his own decision and to practice what him learn. Check your heart and motive every day you walk this earth. Remember life is given, make a difference in this world. Awake from your slumber, awake, Israelite, recall your maker. Who gives to every man his portion.
This is the sound of Christina Alicia.
To move on forward, rise up and try your road. Rise up,
And as we close out this night shift week and celebrate Women's Independence, I want to express condolences to Christina Alicia. Her husband transitioned earlier this week.
Gets to reach his fullness. And if you go bet your neighbors, well, you'll grow a heart of bitterness. See beyond.
My grandmother also transitioned during this time,
Nothing new under the sun.
several years ago.
Awake from your slumber. Awake, Israelite, we call you maker. Who gives to every man his portion? The choice is yours to move on forward, rise up and trod your own.
Was in the midst of it all, we still trod on. And Christine encourages us to rise up. In Jamaica, they get to celebrate independence come tomorrow.
Practice what him learn. Check your heart and motives every day you walk this earth. Remember life.
And I have a very special track
Away from your slumber. Yeah. Awake is reliable.
to play in light of these celebrations.
Every man is portion. The choice is yours to move on forward. Rise up and join your own. Rise up, no man, nobody stop the love. Rise up, Zion, Zion, destiny's ours. Rise up and join your own. Rise up, no make no
Happy Independence, guys.
Rise up,
is ours. This is the sound of Sharon Corinthian. It's called Cradle of Joy.
Island, ablaze with life-giving sun. Living is easy and full of fun. The natives give freely, friendship, caring, and love, sharing blessings that come from above. Our children are happy, they play without fear. Knowing someone to trust is ever near. Pure, rushing water when thirst takes us over. Relax in ocean waves from exhaustion to recover. In the lap of nature, food is easy to get. Just plant a seed and the table is set. That sweet reggae music, the one-drop rhythm, it's the heartbeat of the Caribbean. Sweet, sweet paradise, my cradle of joy, island in the sun. Those were the good old days when I was young. Sweet, sweet paradise is where my roots come from. Remnants of my childhood, filled with so much laughter, joy, and fun. Granny in her kitchen, taste buds jumping, ackee sawfish, banana and dumpling. Saturday morning, she gonna market. Evening come, sell out the whole basket. Granny gone, the yard all day around, I have fun. Better make sure say all the housework done, else your backside going bun till morning come. Bedtime stories to awaken the senses of a child. The adventures of Brother Nancy and Brother Tukuma allowed my imagination to run wild. May I tell you, no one else sweeter than Dog jam down in our big yard, playing marbles, gig, slingshot too. There was always something to do. We got our river every day, me and my crew. I long for that island, so far away, to be a child again, to play without worry, laughing with the breeze to sway.
I love it. The sound of Sharon Corinthian. It's called Cradle of Joy.
Yo, yo, it's your boy Frano. Yo, yo. Remember with a little bit, yo. Now we tear up clothes, I run up and down. Sunday evening.
This is Frano.
Whenever I have no trouble.
The good old days. This is the title of this track.
Reflecting on my life, I'm flying about the good old days. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Things are hard, but the simple things in life, they got us to the face. I know money not fame can wipe those memories. We can pray for those days. No money not fame can wipe those memories. Sitting down on my couch reminiscing, thinking about the good old days that we missing. The full nights that we used to go fishing, then we fry out the catch in the outside kitchen. And we used to go a river, go catch perch and janga, and then we catch a fire.
Tell her you love it, Marlon. Tell her you love it. Send her a message.
We used to wash our clothes and dry them from big stones, and then we swim all day till we hide them when we had wrinkle up like prawns. Yeah, yeah. Reflecting on my life, I'm thinking about the good old days. Yeah, 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 yeah. Things are hard, but the simple.
I'll tell you a little bit of a secret about that track.
I know money not feel can wipe those memories. We can pray.
I created the rhythm for that track one night I was home upset.
I feel can wipe those memories. We used to play rubber ball cricket, 3 pieces of bamboo stick make the wicket. The bat them a coconut bunker use make it if your LBW the umpire juke it on. I remember when we used to spend our homemade gig them in St. Catherine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember when we used to play in a clean white sun in an autobay. Yeah, yeah. And I remember Sunday dinner chicken rice
It's amazing some of the things that you do in order to appease the mind and quell the angered spirit, Marlon. Did I say it right, CL? Appease the mind and quell the angered spirit.
The prettiest thing, beautiful smile with the prettiest skin.
This is Corey.
For a place to vacation. They say my home is a great destination. I said, would you want
the disqualified festival tune of 2018.
I know the perfect place you can be free, baby.
This should have won.
Do it in Jamaica, where the summer sun is always shining. Happy people always smiling. You'll see. Let's do it in Jamaica. Away, and we have summer every day. Trust me, let's do it in Jamaica. That's where all the fun is, baby. Feel free to get wild and crazy, or just relax and be lazy. She's me say whatever you want, whatever you need, it's alright with me. Even if you want to try out the trees, baby. Let's do it in Jamaica, where the summer sun is always shining. Happy people always smiling, you'll see. Let's do it in Jamaica, the perfect place to get away. And we have summer every day, trust me. Let's do it in Jamaica. If you feel like party with me, let me make it real easy. You just need to get up and shake off your troubles and smile with me. Relax for a while with me. Enjoy the island breeze, baby. Let's do it in Jamaica, where the summer sun is always shining. Happy people always smiling. You'll see. Let's do it in Jamaica, the nicest place to get away. And we have summer every day. Trust me. Let's do it in Jamaica. So what will it be? The question may ask you still not answer me. The invite is open, your tickets on me. So let me ask you again, girl, would you agree to take that vacation with someone like me? I know the perfect place you can be free, baby. Come with me to Jamaica, where the summer sun is always shining. Happy people always smiling, you'll see. Let's do it in Jamaica, the nicest place to get away. And we have summer every day, trust me. Let's do it in Jamaica, where the summer sun is always shining. Happy people always smiling, you'll see. Let's do it in Jamaica, perfect place to get away. And we have summer every day, trust me. Let's do it in Jamaica. Tune up the tune like a disco. Close my eyes, I can hear the soul of the music coming up on the bright side. Come in with a big tune, let the niceness fill up the room. I just can't sit still, let the dance this one out.
This is the sound of Shauna Dazzle.
Mr. DJ, play over again.
It's called Mr. DJ.
This one fit forward, pull it back again. Oh, Mr. DJ, play over again. This one fit forward, pull it back again. Don't want it to stop when Kevin Stew play. You know, say night shift, I do it, and you know me not leave it. Kevin, this one's for you. Big up yourself, Shauna Dazzle says so.
Thank you, Shauna. Member of Sensational Dynamic Sound, the amazing South Florida trio. Other members being Suzanne Sultry and Dottie.
Come in with a big tune, let the niceness fill up the room. I just can't sit still, let the dance this one out. Oh, Mr. CJ, play over again. Oh, this one fit forward, pull it back again.
This is Dangling.
This you're my treasure, more precious than gold.
It's called This Lifetime.
I want you to know you're the melody to the soul of my life. You're like a sweet bedtime story to a little child. Oh, na, na, na. This lifetime won't be enough to give you all this love I'm feeling inside. It's spiraling up. One life won't be enough to love you. Bang boom bang ba-dee-dee-dee. Bang boom bang ba-dee-dee-dee. Bang boom bang ba-dee-dee-dee. Yeah, yeah.
One night, MJ, that's being Melissa Jane, played this song like 5 times. Just couldn't get enough of it. What's that wicked tune? It's what, 3 years old?
Food tastes better, the air smells fresher, the riches and the pleasures no longer matter. 'Cause you're my treasure, more precious than gold.
I want to thank you all for tuning in this week and tonight, of course.
You're the melody.
I do encourage you to look out for members of your community. Your community is not just a development that you live in, but it spreads far and wide. So do remember to do something good for somebody today, because you never know who's going to do something good for you tomorrow.
Little child. Oh, na, na, na.
The people that you pass along the way as you go along your day, these are all your neighbors. The ones on the bus, on the plane, on the boat, on the train, whether you walk, ride, or drive.
One life won't be enough
Show some kindness,
to love you.
even if they don't show it back.
Bang boom bang ba-dee-dee-dee.
My name is DJ Kevin Stewart, so I like to do it to you, for you, and with you. Every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 10 to midnight Eastern Time, right here on kevinstew.com. Do join me on Monday. We hang out with Chief Constance Stanley, the Chief of Police for the Lauderhill Police Department. Happens right after Marlon is done with Real Rockers. Do tune in to all the other individuals presenting. Let me tell you, it's all a family here. So Danny Walker, WGLRO, 6 to 10 Eastern Time on WGLRO, the morning show, the People Station.
This lifetime won't be enough.
We have Clinton Lindsay on the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com, 12 to 3 Eastern Time. We have G. Cole, Homegrown with G. Cole. You can check him out on social media. DP, my friend DP, Damian Phillips, has Lifestyles. My sister from another Mr. Melissa Jane, MJ Media Group. Check them out.
4, 6 times 6 more lifetimes, still wouldn't be enough, Me this all up, Loving up so till it a pile up, It pile up, about a mile up, Oh, me, oh, mama. I'm so blessed you're mine. Do I and I from the most up.
Catch King Genius this weekend.
This life
One Harmony Radio.
won't be enough to give you all this love. I'm feeling inside. It's spiraling up. One life won't be enough.
Catch DC Flex on Flex FM. But until we catch up again, y'all take care of yourselves. Be good. But if you can't be good at it. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world, from right here in South Florida. I bid you good night. Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.